Have you ever been playing a game and thought, man, I'd like to crack a cold beer right here? I got that feeling. It happened to me when I was playing through Super Mario Sunshine. I thought, well, this is Mario's holiday. What do the locals drink? How many bars are there? And most importantly, where would he choose to drink a red stripe? Now I'm on a quest to find the best spot. I'm starting off with my 3 favourite games on the Cube. I'm going to rank each one that I find and then combine them into the ultimate tier list. To once and for all definitively answer the age-old question. Where is the best spot for a beer on the Gamecube?
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to take a little tour of the island, and I'm going to whack them on a tier list. I'm also going to confer with the boys to make sure my thoughts are valid. But ultimately, the final decision is mine. Let's get looking. A short stroll away from the plaza will find our first spot, right here by the sea. I'm calling this... This is the baseline for nice. It's got great sun, ocean sights, and it's easily accessible. My friend James had a lot of insight about this first location.
I don't know, I'd rate this maybe like a 7. It's got good views, but the thing is you've got some
chair.
Yeah, you've got some fat local next to you as well, ruining the vibe. The thing is, though, is the fact that if you bring like, even if you bring like a 6-pack, they're like rapidly heating in the fucking sun. So by the time you get to the 6th beer, then you're just drinking warm beer and it's fucking wank.
Warm beer. This is your run-of-the-mill beer drinking spot. Nothing too flashy, but gets the job done. I am, however, going to need a bit more winning over than that. Sits middle of the road for me. For now, I'm going to whack this in B tier. It's the Watermelon Festival on Shine number 8 of Gelato Beach. I thought this could be a big contender for number 1. It's got a lot of everything you need. So there's like a cabana by the sea, and it's got chairs and umbrellas next to the coral reef.
Does the scale go up to S?
Yeah.
I would say this is an A tier. It's nice, but the thing is, though, is that look out to the ocean again. You got a fucking theme park there, which kind of ruins the whole vibe.
You don't like that? Is that too industrial?
No, I don't. Too industrial, mate. There's not enough. But the fishes are nice. That's why it's an A.
Man, I thought giving this an A was harsh. Especially when the bar next to you is making watermelon smoothies. Drop a few shots in there and you're well away. I'm going to make an assumption that you can hear the soundtrack when you're here, and I think this is one of the best. And I'm going to have to knock it down a few points because there just doesn't look like there's much going on at this bar. You might be waiting a while for your second drink. A big consideration you've got to take into account is getting flipped 50 foot into the air whilst you're getting there. That's just not practical when you're trying to get back to the hotel. But all in all, I'm going to whack it at the top of A tier. Noki Bay is a bit of a tricky one. It might have some of the most beautiful scenery in the game, but it's a bit too vertical to be cracking a few cans. When I look at this, I just see danger. I don't want to be stumbling up here.
Really,
James, if I gave you like 10 red stripes and said you have to drink them all up here on this thing, what's the percentage chance that you fall in and die?
Like 0? I'm not a fucking moron.
He might not be a moron, but I certainly am. I'm making this video to begin with. But it is a shame because the sound of the waterfall and the vast scenery looks so great. But the problem's all over the stage. No matter where you go, it's just up. This is like the Mount Everest of drinking beers. If there was a bar at the top of this mountain, there would be 10 deaths a day. I don't think the boat's any better either. To be honest with you, this whole area is just somewhere you want to be sober. This is like an activities day out. And I ain't going down with a ship. Unfortunately, it's going in D tier.
What about a beer out of a cannon?
Real.
Mate, Mario's like the fucking worst tourist ever. He's going around bothering the locals, going to places he shouldn't be. Mario's acting like he's fucking British.
What about a nice beer on a
wall?
On a wall beer, if you will.
Well, that's a breakwater, but all this talk's making me want a beer.
No matter which way you spin it, a beer at a theme park is no good. You're telling me you want to be drunk at these dizzying heights? No shot, mate. Similar to Noki Bay, having a drink here is just a heinous act. There's gonna be kids and families here, man. Get your shit together. Put the bottle down. And look at how fast that thing's going. This was an easy one for us. There was no conferring needed. This is definitely going at the bottom of the barrel. Straight into F tier. One that I forgot about was the Subscribe beer. I think that one's pretty good. Thing about Rico Harbor is that James said this is way too industrial, but I'm currently like 6 beers deep, and I see the potential of this place. Just look at what you can do. Yeah, but you can get pissed and challenge your mates to a beluga race, which seems like animal abuse. Maybe it is, but that's neither here nor there. I hear what he's saying though, this place is a bit grungy, even if you're on the boat. Maybe the diesel fume smell, and the aroma of fish left out way too long in the sun, and the sound of the cranes might get jarring after a while. I'm not convinced the helicopter's a much better idea though. Look, if the missus drags you to Rico Harbor, you've got to make sure you do what you can do. Maybe bring a 4-pack and enjoy yourself. Also, my tier list names are boring, let's reinvent them. Put the bottle down. Bad idea. May as well. Nice boozer. Coming here next year. Beautiful. James has never played Mario Sunshine before, so all his reactions are genuine.
Oh, fuck off. I already know that. Oh, fucking. This is an S tier.
Sit down. Got a cold Corona. You can hear the nice soundtrack in the background. Evening sun.
You've got some guy with a red cap and a fucking weird jetpack running around. You've got some fucking gal.
Live band. Sun loungers.
Okay. It is an S. It could have been an S+, but the only reason...
Hold on.
It's... Okay.
There is 2 bars. This looks like a liquory place, but you're telling me I can get like a coconut punch type thing at the bar?
Real.
And then I can fuck off back to my sun lounger and watch the sunset.
My only problem is the fact that the amusement park's in the way.
Okay, I can fix that. Right, so you see the amusement park there? It's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Okay. Okay, no, that's an S. That's an S+.
I've got no reservations putting this right in the spot. This is the place to be. It's gonna take some doing to dethrone this. Fucking hell, I'm pissed.
Hotel beer.
Hotel lobby beer.
It's like a B, I would say. Usually, if you're having a hotel lobby beer, then it's either because you're waiting for someone or you're having a nightcap. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you. What about women's toilet beer? You ever had a beer in a bog?
No.
Never.
Have you? No, have you?
I find that hard to believe. I can't say I have.
The best thing about the beer is its portability.
Okay. Now I finally made it. How do we feel about pool beer?
Pool beer, pretty cool. You got a star in the middle.
So you do.
I'm thinking this is a C, to be honest. I can't handle this for the beers.
Nice local music though.
I personally think a beer at Height's pretty good. Like a B, maybe.
Listen, if there's one place you don't want to have a beer, it's this fucking Chuckster Fuckster level. Pianta Village is where you want to be. Look at this big ass crowd. You can get in the mixer with the boys, do some two-stepping with a red stripe. That's what I like. Then you can retreat to this oversized mat and a nice mushroom with a little bit of shade. World's your oyster. Hop in the hot springs like it's no one's business. Dick around on some swings just for the fun of it. Pianta Village daytime is some goated level. Right now, it's coming down to this, or whatever the last stage was called. I can't remember. Roll the next one. I've got a bit of beef with Bianco Hills. Not because it's bad, almost because it's too nice. This is just a quaint little village. I don't want to get Larry here. This is someone's home. I'd be raging if someone was getting pissed outside my home on the local windmill. Sometimes you gotta know when to rein it in. Up here looking over the lands, that's one of these times. Let's just be sensible, yeah? Lily pad's no good. To me, this is somewhere you want to live. I'm not trying to get rowdy here. Let's not disturb the locals too much. And for that, I'm going to put it in May as well. Maybe a local invites you over or something. Something I do think that goes underrated in this game is the problematic beer. You know when shit hits the fan, and all you can do is solidarity is sit on the roof with your boys, crack a cold one and watch it all unfold? But not this guy, he just cares about his sunnies. He couldn't give a fuck. I know it's literally called Corona Mountain, but you're gonna need more than a lime to fix this. I'm not sure this is where you want to be sipping, to be completely honest. Is what I originally thought anyway. And then I found this hot little spring. Fresh water, boat. It's at the end of the game, may as well sink one for good measure. Having said that, it might be chalked if you're trying to steer this boat. Fuck this thing. Maybe a little pre-match shot so you don't get too nervous when you're fighting Bowser, you know? Just to take the edge off. I don't see no harm in it. And for that reason, I'm not going to put it in the bottom tier, I'm going to whack it in May as well. The hero deserves a beer, you feel me? And that brings us to the end of the video. I'm going to decide which one really takes the cake. I want to say thank you for watching first, if you've somehow made it through all of this. I played through this entire game again for about the 50th time, and if you haven't, make sure you go and do it, yeah? But without further ado, the winner is... Come on, it was always going to be Serena Beach, wasn't it? Mario's fought the world and saved the world too many times. Bro just needs a day off. Little evening in front of the sunset. Who can blame the guy, really? That, on top of all of the positives I mentioned earlier, this was a no-brainer. This is the best spot for a beer in Super Mario Sunshine. And cheers. Picture this. You've sailed the Great Sea, you've defeated Ganon, and you've saved Hyrule once more. I think it's high time you kick your feet back and you crack open a cold one. But now you're faced with a pressing question. Where? This world's got everything. Cliffs, boats, volcanoes, islands, post office. How on earth are you meant to pick one spot? Well, that's where me and the boys come in. We're gonna sail through every single island in the game, and then we're gonna whack them on a tier list. We'll be scoring them on metrics such as the scenes, the locals, the access, and what drinks they might have to offer. And whilst we're sailing, we'll tell you our best stories.
The last time I had a blue moon, I got into a fight in a Belgian bar.
Another consideration is drinking buddies. Who's gonna be the best to sink a few pints with? So don't pack up the sail just yet. Please join us on our adventure to answer the age-old question, where is the best spot for a beer in the Wind Waker? Alright then, on the way to our first island, what are you guys drinking? Because I got myself a Hylian brew. Today helping me record, I've got James and I've got Lorenzo. So from Northern England to South America, we've got a variety of opinions. And first is Horseshoe Island, which isn't a great start. Do you reckon these are the locals?
I know one thing, he needs to work on his tan.
I mean, we're not off to a great start.
No, we're not.
Can you really drink here?
You've got the ops outside.
Yeah, let's leave op block. First of many, but it's not impressed me. Outset Island, however, is where we really get going. If you fancy a peaceful island beer, look no further. Bury your bottles in the sand and kick back for hours. Life's good.
Is Link a child or is he just a short king?
I think he's 12. That actually looks like Lorenzo.
It actually does.
Real.
Would you call this a beer
Whoa.
on the rocks?
Hear me out on this. You're with your boys. You have like a 6-pack of beer each. You're sat there looking out on the sea. Yeah. Just sat there like shooting the couple of ciggies in hand, couple of like or like cheeky little lip pillows.
Problem is, that's your nan's house.
Oh well, this is the problem: is the fact that your nan will you for drinking.
Is up here better than over there?
Yeah, I would say so, because you've got like the nice little shade. You can have a chill out by the tree. There's no locals here doing your head in.
Uh oh. Oh, hold on. Could be the fairy beer.
Yeah, but there's no bar near.
No, Lorenzo's actually right. You think I'm going all the way back down? Where are you gonna have a...
In the fountain.
Okay, you gotta deal with the fat locals with spears.
You've got the bouncers outside.
Get your sunnies on. This is where you want to be.
Oh, I've just spilt lager down my shirt. Now you might be thinking, what about a ship beer? Now, hear me out on this. The problem is the fact that when you have a beer on board a ship, the effects of alcohol are pretty much double.
There's also piss all to do out here. You could talk to your boat.
Mate, imagine that being 6 beers deep and your boat starts talking to you, I think that would make me vomit immediately.
Nice.
Hear me out though, fucking cheeky little beach beer.
Beach beer with the crabs? What about dungeon beer?
Well, what? Yeah, mystical ruins.
What is
beer.
this obsession with drinking beer inside dark and damp places?
We're British.
Yeah.
True.
Catacombs beer?
Mate, more dark and damp places for beer,
I
please.
could go for a catacombs beer.
Beer with the dead boys?
What do you reckon the hinge options are like round here? You matched with.
You matched with
Bouncer.
orange slime. Mate, this is like that horrible slippy moss. That's interesting.
What?
Not sure I'm fancying a puzzle 12 beers deep. All of the reefs are going to the bottom tier. You are an unwelcome visitor at any of these locations. Do not visit. Mate, it's just a chill guy. After this, I hit a bunch of nothing islands. Just some rocks where the birds were trying to get a bit of Larry, getting blown up by pirates. And there's generally a bit of greenery with a tree or two and a hole. I was starting to lose faith, but then I remembered something really important. I had to restock on beers, so I thought, why not see my boy Beetle? Turns out he does Red Stripe. Who would have thought? And Red Stripe, I'm here for the sponsor when you're ready.
What?
Oh, no. Forest Haven's pretty tricky to get into, but when you do, you can't tell me you're not cracking one open with the big tree. The Deku tree is like one of those old heads at the pub that's got like 50 million stories to tell you. Equally a bit of a nitty, but still wise. And then I got the ultimate surprise. Nah, they've got the on-site brewery.
Jump in the brewery. What do you think they're brewing?
Like Carling tops. I'm really getting a lot of mileage off of slowing down these tracks. Regardless, this is a good spot. Get your sunnies on, man. Best British weather. What do you feel about a snowy beer?
Well, I think for like you and me, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, this is local territory.
But for Renhead, maybe not.
Yeah, but I like the cold. Yo.
Do you?
This would be like a pretty nice place for me to have a beer, I think.
This is a Lorenzo beer. This one's nice, but don't forget your North Face. However, it suffers from the same problem that a lot of them do. I'm not trying to navigate this dungeon. Health and safety will be all over this. So I've got a dock points, but it's a pleasant location.
What are you sexually attracted to that you won't tell us?
Don't get me wrong, I don't mind a bit of hairy every now and again, but fucking Holy.
A few more islands come and go with nothing really to note. Maybe you could do like a nice fairy bar crawl. There's plenty more left to come though, some real big hitters. And if you like what you see, please subscribe because there's plenty more on the way. Sometimes you get to these holy places. I wouldn't dare have a drink in here. It's the equivalent of lighting up a blunt in the church pews. Gotta treat these places with respect. Respect was not found here, however. Some of these islands are just straight up death traps. But peace was finally in sight. Time for an island that could take the top step. Is it really raining?
You need to record this when it's not raining.
Real.
Okay,
Wait.
It's clear enough.
Wait.
Okay, now it's a little bit clean. Mate, the fact that the
Okay.
clouds actually move is actually insane. But like, how don't they do this like in like games made now? I don't get it. Yeah, but also the fact that the rain cloud was there, and then the rain cloud is gone, so the rain stops. Like, hello.
This is the final boss of relaxation. Link's got his towel on his chair, and he's got his margarita in hand. It's ready for him before he even gets there. Top tier management. And I love getting in the tub. And what island stay isn't a complete retreat without raiding your very own underfloor dungeon? Every first class resort has a room where you can plunder your own goods. And then, just take it all in. I want to beer with this guy. Them birds look pretty Larry. Oh, this could be good. It wasn't. I have this feeling that Greatfish Isle is like one of those spots that all the old guys talk about that they went to back in the day. You know your granddad sunk a few brews there. There's a surprising amount of stag do event islands. Come up the ladder and speak to the Cannon Man. Lad's on tour on the Great Sea and then you get this guy. Charges you like a tenner to blow up some barrels. You'll see them offering this on the coast of Benidorm before you know it.
Imagine if we could load James into the cannon and blast him out. What sound do you think he'd make as he goes blasting out of the cannon?
He'd be flying through the air like, Cannon Gaming.
I'm cannoning it.
I've got to lock in for this last one. It's got to be 45, right?
Good luck.
Let's go. Let's go. Woo!
Wait, hold on. Do the trees have faces? Huh?
Holy shit. Come on, it's got to be this guy.
Already I'm hooked.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They've even got James.
That guy is James, this guy.
This guy.
I was talking about the other guy, but actually... Yeah, it actually is just James.
Let me show you what's
No,
great.
wait, is this the bar?
No, this is the bomb shop.
Okay, alright. Mate, you've got beer and the bomb shop.
Beer and
Real.
bombs, holy f***. Doesn't that look like a trustworthy man? This town's got it all, man. Imagine a crispy cold Corona on the beach. Waddle into the town, do a bit of auctioneering, catch up with the locals. It's perfect. Right, now are you ready for the actual bar?
Yes. Okay. This is a back alley bar, mate. This guy's like staying up late making brew for the boys. Look at the way that the glass glistens. You know that's the real deal. Can't help but notice his laboratory behind him.
Oh, this is the island full of people. We've got to find the best person to have a beer with.
So far, I'm really liking the very first guy that looked like James. But maybe that's because he looks like James.
Real. What about the local Wicked Hot Slash?
I don't know if that's either wicked nor hot.
Real.
I kind of like it, but I feel like he's hiding something. Why is he wearing like a jacket when it's like sunny?
I like this spot a lot.
This is a pretty good spot. This is like the deep, like when you're having those deep conversations with the boys.
Toes in the water type, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What's she saying? Oh. Wait, this guy dresses like you do.
Yeah, I definitely wear a belt and overalls. Yep,
I
this is
like that
James.
the belt was the concerning part. You know, when I was a kid, I thought this was like a boring spot, but now, like...
Now it's clean.
Now I'm an avid coffee drinker, I'm like, holy... Upon reflection, I think you need to be considerate here. This is a family island. Look at all the kids. You've got to be a successful role model. Don't get too Larry on the streets. This is a nice town. Take yourself down to the coast when it's nice and quiet, and sink a little brew. Because a place like this is just about as peaceful as it gets. Dragon Roost Island, on the other hand, is a bit different. It's got that kind of crazy scenery, you know? And I imagine if you know this game, you probably expect me to sing its praises. But I've got some problems. First of all, everyone is too serious here. Have a look around this island, you will not find a single smile. I don't need people to be grinning at me, but come on. I would, however, grab a drink with this guy. He's got his shirt off at work, that's pretty rogue. I tried to chat to this guy and he just flew off. Rude. But what it lacks in people, it makes up for in scenes. Just don't go too far off the beaten path and end up in the dungeon. This ain't it. If you're familiar with Wind Waker, please let me know if there's any good spots in the dungeons, because everything seems a little bit too dangerous for my liking. And I know that kind of goes hand in hand with being a dungeon, but maybe I've missed something obvious. Overall, the island itself's really nice, but it's just missing that vibe, you know? Mother and Child Owls is a low-key banger. If you can get past the struggle of finding the front door, you'll be in for a chill time. No one to disturb you, and a nice little glow. Here's where they stand on the list. Nothing quite matches Drop Anchor, but a few of them are pretty good. Now if you head up the ladder on Tingle Isle, you'll find some chaps who look like they're on a stag do, but they've been forced into labour camp. Still wearing their outfit from the night before. You hate to see it. And that landed at the bottom for me. I'd love to know how this guy gets to these places. But I think it's decided. This guy has to have the best stories, and he's the best drinking buddy on the game. I would have loved to have given Forsaken Fortress a bit of a higher score. I thought it could go up to Ganon's quarters, but it's been blocked off once you defeat him. Would have been the perfect little nest to set up some speakers. The best I could manage was flying over to this little mast, but then I spotted something very, very important. What about Hyrule? This is no place to have a beer. I almost forgot why I was making this video. The soundtrack and the atmosphere made me forget all of that. I don't know quite what happened, but when I got here, my mood just completely changed. Maybe I was sobering up, or maybe this place sobered me up. Being in Hyrule in this game just feels divine. I wouldn't dream of smashing a red stripe. I don't want to talk about this topic whilst I'm here. This place has got history. I can't make a mockery in such an important place. I pulled the Master Sword here. Maybe let this be a lesson. There are some places that are just out of bounds. Inside Hyrule Castle is one of those places, but outside the castle, I love the bright colours, I love the peaceful sound of the portal. Maybe, just maybe, after you finished your quest, you could sit outside of here and have a very well-deserved drink. That too dramatic? After that long adventure, I came to an unforeseen conclusion. Maybe the best place to have a beer is nowhere, and maybe you should just have a soup with your nan. Being a resident of Station Square must be tough. Evil mastermind blowing up your gaff, god of destruction destroying the city, some blue head running down the side of your apartment building. It's a lot. After all that stress, you could probably do with a nice cold beer. Because despite the seemingly constant threats, there's a plethora of different vibes to choose from. Are you a hotel pool man? A theme park enjoyer? Or are you the adventurous type? Alright, grab your drink of choice and let's dive in to answer the age-old question. Where is the best spot for a beer in Sonic Adventure? Alright, before that, let's take a look at our lineup of drinking buddies. Sonic's a fair choice, but he's defo taken off before he has to buy the next round. Tails is 8, so that's no good. Knuckles is too straight edge. You know he's never touched a drop in his life and probably bangs on about it too. Gamma could be a good choice, seems like a level-headed chap, though he'd probably always win at Uno. Amy? No. Big? No. Anyway, that's enough dawdling. Let's get into it. Our first location is... Let me put you in the shoes of a normal bloke who just fancies sipping some warm beer from a plastic cup. A classic theme park experience. First you've got to dodge the armed monkeys, then you've got to take out one of the several drivers, then hurl yourself through space. All of that just gets you to the main entrance. No amount of beers will get me on this roller coaster, and I'm going to need even more than no amount to get on that waltzer. Now purely because this has a big stage, there's the argument that you could have a beer, just on the grounds that beer and fishing is an elite combo. But ultimately, Twinkle Park is not the place to be, and will be marking the first spot at the bottom of the tier list. What about a sewer beer?
You need help.
Time for a proper stage. Let's slide over to Emerald Coast.
Why does he walk like that?
Would you prefer that he walks like this? If you poke around enough and take a little dip through here, Big's got himself a private fishing hole with room for one. A nice secluded spot. Up on the cliffs and by the lighthouse are picturesque, but the 10-foot jumps in between the platforms is perhaps off-putting. Another great shout is by the coconut tree by the loop. Got yourself a nice little deck chair or two? Take a look at this bridge. Normal, right? If you come back as Gamma, it's a different story. Table, parasol, and some excellent seating. It's just a stone's throw away from the bars at the hotel too. Speaking of the hotel, you don't even have to go far to find a great spot. The problem with the end of the level spots is that it's such a pilgrimage back to the boozer, so make sure you pick your drinking spot wisely. It's hard to argue against this stage, it's going in one of the top tiers. Alright, you're probably all wondering where the Chow Gardens go. That's a valid question. especially when you consider just how perfect they are. Peaceful, secluded, secure. There's even a black market, serving the finest. But there's one problem. You've got your kids with you. I slipped and pressed the wrong button and I absolutely clobbered him. Time to put the bottle down and be a responsible man. And as much as it pains me to say it, because they really are genuinely lovely places, I'm gonna have to put them towards the bottom. Rank them in Corona 0. Now come on. A cold mountain beer is up there, especially when paired with a spot of snowboarding. Adds a hint of danger. This is a well-documented event in real life. There are plenty of skiing festivals. I see no problem in translating this over to Sonic. Ride down the mountain and crack a can every now and then. Just wonderful. However, in the big stage, this is not where you want to drink a beer. Listen to this soundtrack. Sounds like it's an Ocarina of Time dungeon theme. I'm gonna have to knock it down a few points for that. If you're enjoying the video, please subscribe. Plenty more like this on the way. Anyway, let's keep it rolling. Alright, let's do the opposite of that madness, and let's do a little relaxing on the forest. Set yourself down up here, take in the sights. You're so detached from the world below. Hope you brought your binoculars. You know that vibe at the end of a festival, or any kind of big event? You're soaking up the day that you just had, having that nice wind down beer? This is it. But there's just one problem, the height. I don't know about you, but I'm 110% stacking it off the top of here and landing arse first in the trees after maybe a beer and a half. Even if I didn't, that's one hell of a ladder to be drunkenly navigating. Even with that in mind, you just can't deny how great the view is. And for that, it's going in my top tier. Listen mate, you already know the Master Emerald is a legendary spot for a beer. It's sacred, but you wouldn't feel like you're doing something wrong. It's like the Emerald would want you to have a drink. The sunset is the best time to visit, catching and enjoying the last little bit of daylight whilst you're illuminated by the Emerald. Do you reckon you could harness its power to keep a beer carbonated? It's strange, there's no words to say, but we all know it's a great spot. Let's run through a few quick ones. A train beer is usually always great as long as you can get a seat, and the train system here always has a spare one for you, so it works for me. National Rail could never. Big seems to have an abundance of spots that really suit him. Down this ladder there's a real nice spot you can cast out your rod. Could float your beers in the water to keep them cool. Defo catching a sailfish down here. If you disagree with my list by the way, please feel free to slate me in the comments. I've also linked the template in the description so you can rearrange it and beef me in Discord. Now it's a bit of a palaver getting there, but the egg carrier is where you want to be. Look at the size of it. Seriously, it just keeps going. This thing's huge. You can't even see the land from all the way out here. Must be docked in nice waters, very clear and blue. You can pitch up anywhere so you'll always get a spot of sun. I really can't get over the scale of it though. This thing just goes on. And on. And then on. But the cherry on the cake, the pool. We got girls by the poolside. We got girls diving off the diving board. We've got girls underwater. We've got the Cocktail Shaker 3000. But if that doesn't suit you, take a posted seat up at the front deck, on the overly mechanical chair. If you hop over to the pool bar, you'll see something strange. These drinks are pre-poured, but there's no one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's leaving their cocktails out and about, man? They're probably like £9 at the bar. Who's got the kind of money to be doing that? How about a beer in the past? I feel like the air is more crisp here, and you know we love a central tower to perch on. The locals don't look too friendly, however, but to make up for that, we do have some barbecue pits. Whack some skewers on there. There is a strange vibe though. The soundtrack omits the vocals, and it just seems off. Like, I'd be a little nervous. I feel like a tourist. I'd opt for a low ABV whilst I'm here. Grab a Carlsberg. The past gets to shine at the shrine. This must be the original Angel Island. Sonic nerds, help me please. Looks a bit more upmarket, doesn't it? Almost too good to be true. Too pristine. All you've got for company is the other Chaos Emeralds. Look how delicious the water looks. I'd rather have a pint of that. Maybe this is why I was on edge. Turns out some things should be left in the past. Good thing I didn't get too pissed. All the music is gone, all that's left is the sound of the flames, and the sight of the once bright green emerald now turned to black. Let's not end on too serious of a note. This is a video about drinking beer in Sonic. The casino is a strange one. There's no activity at the bar, and you're shaken violently for all of your winnings. Not only that, you're used as the pinball. Can't believe I've got to do this sober. Surprisingly, the bathroom is the best part of the casino. Nice decor and plenty of hot showers. Perfect for the niche of the shower beer community. Finally, we have Speed Highway, which for me is quite divisive. I love the aesthetic of looking over the cityscape at night, but I'm not sure about being half cut whilst I'm on the run from the feds. Even worse than that, there's this awful transition at the end of the stage that brings you from the cover of night into the harsh reality of the morning. You know that feeling when you're out and you now realise you should have been home hours ago? They've even got a grand old clock to remind you. There's some good, there's some bad, so that's going to stick it in the middle. Now we can really answer the age-old question. The best place for a beer in Sonic Adventure, for me, is on Angel Island. It's funny, I really said the least about this, but there's just a feeling. There's just a feeling here that's just right. This is where you would sit after you finish your adventure. We've got our contenders, and we've got our beer. But where is the best spot for a beer on the Gamecube? It might not be your choice, but it's my choice. I'm gonna give it to the Master Emerald, which is really funny, because it's really a Dreamcast game. Please join the Discord. Once again, thank you to all of my channel members. I could not do it without you. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for keeping me going, guys. Consnip, Metalpipe68, Young Akimbo, and Young Mallard, Sellout Stevius, 8 Null, Chance, Vanilla Gorilla, The Cougar Hunter, Evil Girl Lily, Erasor V4, Brad, Steph, Caffeine, Timster, and Cyber Kitty. See you all next time.